神羅万象を操る闇の地獄の力を解く鍵だぞ。どんな超常現象が起こるか俺にもわからん。暗黒破壊神ミゲル・オ・フェンバールング・ドゥンケル・ハイトが俺を支配すれば貴様らもただでは済まんぞ。
In this anime, Hanadori is portrayed to have a complex of being a destructive god. He's very detached from reality and lives in his own fantasies. In the anime, it's portrayed that he's not actually a god. He is just a regular high school student who's very detached and doesn't realize that he's not. But what if he actually is a god? Well, sometimes. And everything he says is true. And by that I mean whenever Miguel, Hanadori's alter ego, has control over him. So, in the anime A Destructive God Sits Next to Me, it follows Sari, who just wants to live a normal life. But all that is interrupted the day that Hanadori develops a complex that Sari is a friend from his past life named Ghostober, who is also a god and is allies with Sari-kun and his alter ego Miguel. In the anime, it's mentioned multiple times that Hanadori's backstory changes depending on the moment. So I'm going to be going over what his main, average backstory is, as it's normal for him to forget. Hanadori claims that whenever his eye patch is released, taken off, his alter ego, Miguel, from his past life, takes over. And Miguel, he's the god of destruction and is, super strong. I don't think Miguel is supposed to be portrayed as evil. I think he's more portrayed to have the power of darknesses, but depending on its user, can be used for good. As in a scene in the anime, the first episode, he comes to Sari-kun saying that they used to be warriors of light together. So I assume that's a good thing. Of course, whenever his alter ego does come on, he's quite wimpy. In a scene when he takes off his eye patch, he breaks the window and then starts crying right after. So many of the audience members assume that he is not actually Miguel. He's just a wimpy kid pretending to be it. But there's always been one thing that has never sat right with me. Even in flashbacks, Hanadori full-heartedly believes that he is Miguel. And he's willing to risk his life because he believes he is Miguel. Whenever he tries to save Sari-kun, from being hit by a truck, he pushed Sari out of the way, which proves that he genuinely believes that he is this god, and that he full-heartedly doesn't have any doubt that he's willing to risk his life because he is this person. The entire reason he tried to push Sari out of the way was because he believes full-heartedly that Sari, I'm going to call him Ghostober from the rest of the video because that's what Hanadori calls him, is his comrade from his past life. That's what the whole relationship is built on. So if he didn't full-heartedly believe it without a doubt, he would have not pushed him out of the way, as that's the entire relationship that they have, is that he is Ghostober. And if he had a smidge of doubt that he is not Ghostober, I don't think he would have risked his life to save it. Especially if he didn't believe that he was a way of light and had, god powers and such. So, if he believes that he full-heartedly has this power, and yet in the anime it's never really truly displayed, other than his high confidence and ego, why does he truly believe this? He could be just truly stupid, but he gets good grades, and he has some confidence and such, deep inside of him. He comes through when it counts. So he must have some sort of powers, yeah? If he has a complex about being a hero, saving people, he could do that in a different way than pretending to have god powers. Of course. He could always just be stupid and just truly believes this with all his heart. But there's one small detail that contradicts him being stupid is the reason that he has this complex. So, throughout the anime, we never really see him drop his facade of being a god and such, except for one scene. One section of the episode, where he gets hit in the head and he loses his memory, and he's not really a god anymore. and he doesn't really have god powers. So I was going to say this entirely dismisses this theory. Except this one small scene that is kind of contradicting it. So during the time period when Hanadori lost his memory, the eye patch that he has that's meant to conceal Miguel, he can't take it off. It's like there's something that's messed with his mind's wiring that stops him from taking it off. He dismisses it, saying that it's because it costs a lot of money. But it's not. That he can generally just not take it off.
いや、こんなものいらないのになぜか手放せなくて。
何それ、そういう設定入った？
なぜだ、思い出せない。
The only way I can see this is possible is that he can't take it off because it's like built into his wiring, making me to believe he was mind controlled. There is one character in the show who is portrayed to actually have powers, except it's portrayed as like a comedic aspect. But what if he's the one that made Hanadori like this? Utsuki Tsukumiya, who is Hanadori's best friend, and it's shown that he knew Hanadori since childhood, he is somewhat of a sadist. He loves watching others in pain. And throughout the series, he convinces Hanadori to do stupid things and go even more into his act. And he is shown to be opening, laughing whenever Hanadori is being beat up, and he openly attacks Hanadori as well. Except Hanadori doesn't seem to dislike Tsukumiya or anything. This can be called out for plain manipulation. But what if it's deeper than that? In the series, there's multiple scenes where he can openly read the main character, Gustaber's mind, or Seiri-kun. Of course, this can be quite explained, as he can deduce his thoughts based on his facial expressions and what he predicts can happen. But he predicts and reads his mind right down to the exact wording, even while he's not even in the same room as him. In one of the first few episodes of the series, he knows exactly what Gustaber is doing from his apartment. And that's when he's only been in contact with Gustaber for what we know for less than a week. Of course, just him doing that can be easily said that he's just good at reading people and such. But there's some other scene that actually proves he has some sort of powers. When he gets hit by the truck, when Seiri-kun gets hit by the truck, he can see his spirit, and he actually touches the spirit as well. So not only does he have the power of seeing and touching spirits, and communicating with spirits as he talks to Seiri-kun or Gustaber, then that makes it more likely that he can read minds. And he has some other sort of powers too. Like at the end of the truck cone scene, he revives Seiri-kun as one of the Hanadori starts freaking out and crying because Seiri is dead. He has shown with a big bunch of light around his body, and then Seiri-kun just revives and wakes up moments later. So I think this proves that, just in that scene alone, proves that he can touch, communicate, and interact with spirits, and he can revive them. So it makes it more likely that all the other scenes we've seen with him reading minds, knowing exactly what he is saying, makes it more likely that he can actually read minds. And since he's portrayed as being very sadistic, it's not that far to say that he has some sort of mind control powers and use them on people to get what he wants. He also has the character trait of being he always has his eyes shut. There's one scene where he opens it and he actively controls someone's mind just to get what he wants. So I think the fact that his eyes have mind control powers prove that he has powers. Another good example is that whenever Hanadori is being bullied and stuff, Tsukumiya often joins in. Like in the very first episode when Hanadori is being beat up by some bullies, he just joins in and starts beating him up. And then whenever Miguel is unleashed, when his eye patches lift, he just disappeared like nothing happened. He disappeared while Miguel was being unleashed. He disappeared when Miguel was being unleashed. The moment he was being unleashed, he likes to see people being... Oh my god. Oh my god. actually Tsukumiya has all these powers, then wouldn't that make him basically exactly what Hanadori believes he is? So in the title, A Destructive God Sits Next to Me, the real destructive god is Tsukumiya, who's manipulating and mind controlling all these people to cause destruction, to fill and succeed like his sadistic mind and make him happy. Well, that's what the theory is. Tsukumiya is the destructive god, not Hanadori, and he just manipulated Hanadori to have the exact same backstory that he actually does to make other people and like fulfill his desires. I think that's basically what this theory is. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching, everyone, and come back for another video. Wait, but why did Tsukumiya disappear whenever Hanadori's alter ego was unleashed? It could be just because that maybe he just ran away to get a better photo, but why would he run away during the most important moments? It's already proven that he can read minds, and he probably knew it was coming, so why would he just disappear? Unless he is Miguel. Of course, I already said that he is Miguel. He has Hanadori's backstory that he claims he did. But what if what Hanadori does is he actually does have these powers? It's just Miguel is his alter ego, and Miguel can take his form. Hanadori is a vessel for Tsukumiya, or Miguel, whatever you want to call him, to get revenge for Hanadori being bullied. I think him protecting him kind of makes sense. I mean, he doesn't want his favorite person to laugh at actually be injured, and may potentially even stop embracing that reality that makes him so happy. So I think whenever he disappeared during that thing, Tsukumiya kind of took Hanadori's form and is the one that broke the glass window. But he quickly leaves his body, and that's why Hanadori quickly starts crying, because his hand is just damaged for no apparent reason. So if Tsukumiya really uses Hanadori as a vessel and employs him as a vessel whenever he wants to protect Hanadori from bullies, because he doesn't want Hanadori to stop being this personality that he has as it's entertaining, why would he purposely befriend Seiri-kun when he is known for his remarks being very mean and hurtful? Of course, it could be funny watching Hanadori try to befriend this random Gustaber, because it's entertaining watching him be mean to Hanadori and watching Hanadori fall for it. But having a constant bully around Hanadori could potentially end his thing, the whole personality he has going. So having a constant bully around for Hanadori is not really that good for him, and could potentially end his whole scheme of having Hanadori be funny to watch. So why have Seiri be in the group? He can easily get him out, and he's kind of forcing him to be in it anyway, so why? At first, I thought it was originally because Seiri was potentially actually Gustaber in the past life. But Gustaber Seiri-kun isn't not anything like what Hanadori describes Gustaber being like. He's not confident, he's kind of insecure, and he honestly is a huge downer. So if Seiri wasn't actually Gustaber in the past life, then why is he even in the group? So throughout the show, Seiri-kun doesn't necessarily have that many outbursts of those sadistic, like sarcastic remarks and such as those, and mean remarks, because, well, he made a bet. So what if that bet was orchestrated by Tsukumiya from the beginning? So that way, he and Seiri-kun could be in the group, because Seiri-kun would fit in quite well, giving one remark at the end of every single period, and it's just a good comedic ending for the scene of Seiri-kun freaking out. So that adds to his group of watching people. It'd be funny. Plus the fact that Seiri-kun doesn't even want to be there, and reading his mind during those periods of time would be so amusing, considering that he's known Hanadori since he was in grade school. It means that he is probably very bored with Hanadori now, because there's no one funny around. But with Seiri-kun, who thinks a lot in his mind, that means it would be so funny having him around. and he wouldn't mean Hanadori would freak out and lose his magical powers anyway. So, well, this is actually the end of the theory now. I hope I explained everything well, and thanks for watching, honestly. So if I were to sum everything up, I'd say Tsukumiya is actually Miguel, and he can take Hanadori's form as a vessel whenever Hanadori takes off the eye patch, or basically whenever he wants, to protect Hanadori from bullies and that stuff. Well, I'm trying to get a video out every Saturday and Wednesday, and I have a microphone in the mail, so the audio quality will be a lot better. And I tried to improve on my editing in this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. I took some time editing it and such, so actually, guys, thank you for watching. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe, comment, and a like. Please comment down any tips, or not tips, any commentary on this theory you may have. So, bye!